Hey, Mitchell, what's up, brother?
So my fiance is an ICU nurse, and she's been dealing with the worst side of the pandemic here.
Ugh, yeah.
She loves her job. Yeah, she loves her job, but I can see it's taking a toll on her spirit, and it's just, emotionally draining. We talk every day when she comes home from work, but, aside from listening, what else can I be doing to support her emotionally and just spiritually?
Man, dude, I'm so grateful for you, Mitchell. Thank you for your heart and for being one of those guys that wants to love your wife the best way you know how. So when she comes home, give everybody, paint us a picture of what life is like when she gets home. She walks through the door, then what?
Sure. I would say, it's every other day. It's a pretty sad day. She'll lose a patient or two. And it's when they lose COVID patients in the ICU, families don't get to go say bye. Right. She has to be the one hold the iPad and hold that patient's hand when they leave this earth. So she carries that, she carries that burden. I can see that on her shoulders, and I feel a little helpless because I can't relieve that for her.
Yeah. And nothing's worse than watching somebody you love hurt, and you can't be the one that heals that, right?
Yep.
It hurts. It's hard, man. And you alluded to it. I'll go one step further, and I know this is a little bit graphic, but when somebody gets to a place where their end of their time has come and they're being propped up by machines, and the doctor says it's time, it's the nurse that reaches down and turns the machines off, that pulls the proverbial plug, that pulls the tubes out, that actually pulls the lifeline out of somebody's vein.
Sure.
And if and I know you know this, Mitchell, because you know this acutely, but for those of you who don't know, nurses carry that around with them. I'm the one. The doctor made the declaration, but I'm the one that turned the switch. I'm the one that pulled that tube. And you want to talk about carrying some weight, right? It is a weight that very, very few people will ever, I'll never understand that, right? That's a weight. So she comes home and she talks to you. Tell me how those conversations go. How do they paint us a picture of it? Is it in your bedroom? Is it in the living room? Y'all have kids? Tell me what that looks like.
Yeah, we don't have kids. We're actually about to, so she's not my wife yet, but we're about to be married in about a month here.
Okay.
Fiance.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. It's sometimes on the couch. If it's a very heavy day, it's one of those where, we sit down across the table from each other and we'll talk about it face to face. Those are the heaviest days because, really all my attention needs to be in that and, just listening to her there.
Are you a therapist, man?
I'm not.
What do you do for a living?
I'm in customer success. I work in, tech, if you will. So, I hope I listen for a living.
I was going to say, man, she won the lottery with you, brother. I wish I had you as a friend. Talking about knowing experts, I wish I had known you when I first got married so long ago, because you would have told me, stop talking, and just listen, right? Yeah. You're a great friend to have. So here's a couple of things you can do. Number one, you were already there knowing I can't fix this. Most spouses want to fix it. And what that does, number one, is it turns their partner into a machine, which they're not, right? It turns them into something that is quote unquote broken, which she's not. But she does need to process sadness. She does need to process that isolating feeling you get when you turn a switch and somebody's life ends, even if it's the right humane thing. Or when you stop a ventilator or fill in the blank. Man, that is lonely in a world that no one can understand that kind of loneliness, right? You can't solve that, but she's not broken, right? She's processing this and feeling this and experiencing this. So here's a couple of things you can do. Number one, you don't do this, and so I'm speaking this into existence for other folks who are listening. Ask somebody how you can best love them. Don't try to love them the best way you know how. Often folks try to love each other with the only tools they have, right? Which is maybe physical touch, maybe buying a bunch of gifts, maybe giving a bunch of advice. And if that's not how somebody else feels loved, it ends up crushing them, right? because they then have to also have the burden of making you feel good about the gift that they don't want or that's burdening them, but they know you're doing it with a good spirit, right? So just ask the question. When she's sitting across the table from you, reach your hands out. When she's talking to you, if she will, is able to touch you when she does that, there's a processing that happens when you have physical touch and you're talking to somebody that makes it very visceral, very real. If she'll reach across that table and hold your hand while she's talking to you, it'd be awesome. And when she gets done, ask her those words out loud. How can I best love you right now? Just ask her, hey, how can I best love you right now, right? The second thing is, what are things that wear her out? And I'm taking Emily Nagoski's language. What are some of her offs? Not just, in the bedroom, right? But what are some offs, things that she hates doing? And it could be filling the car up with gas. For years, my wife hated getting gas, and so it was just a big deal on Sunday nights. I just go fill her car, right? Things like that. What are things that drive her bananas about the world that you could take from her and lighten her load?
I mean, the easy one for us is laundry. That thing never goes away.
Yeah.
And it's a burden for us. We do work full time, and at the end of the week, it'll just be a mountain, and we're like, where did that even come from?
Yes.
And
it grows, right?
That's how we spend our weekends, just doing chores because we're working through the week. Laundry and dishes. So I would say the normal household, she's exhausted when she comes home. So that's not something we want to do.
Do you have a laundry, like a washer dryer inside your place?
We do. Yeah.
Okay. So this is something I started as part of my morning routine a few weeks ago. I'm just giving it a shot, and it's one of those things has pushed me into like a shame cycle because of how easy it is. And that is, in the morning when I wake up, I just go switch one load of laundry. I'm trying to squeeze in one thing of service a day, just one, right? And it's best in the morning before my kids are awake. And I can just move one thing from the washer to the dryer and the dryer out, and I fold it, and I can set it there and go hang it up. It takes 5 minutes, max 5 minutes, but usually 3. And then it's over. And then on Saturday, we don't get this insane pile that grows up. Does that make sense? So there's these little ways to begin to chip away at that in a problem-solving way. But think through those things. I know you're tired too, but what are those things you can give to her in this season of chaos that's going to be a gift to your entire family unit? You're holding her arms up in the desert right now while she's exhausted. And there will come a season in your relationship when she'll hold yours up, right? But right now, this is that moment for y'all. Find some things that just are a burden to her and see if you can take those from her. You're adding onto your plate and you don't have any space, and I get that. But she's in a season of crisis, and so I'm asking you to step into those moments, right? So the third thing is, you said y'all have a debrief time. Here's something that may not work for every couple. This is just an idea. If you guys have a gratitude journal but it's going to be a unique one. I want you to go buy a journal and buy something fancy pants and set it in a place where she can see it, right? Whether that's on the bed, at night, at a place where she sits down and reads. But I want you to write 3 or 4 things that start with, I'm grateful for her, and write it out. Right? And they could be the same thing sometimes. Leave it in a place where she's going to see it, and ask her if she will take a moment or 2 a day to write out some things she experienced that day. And what I want her to begin to do is associate your continued gratitude for her. She's not a burden to you. She is the joy of your life. You're about to commit to spend the rest of your life with her forever and ever. Amen. And I want to give her a space to begin to write some of this stuff out and get it out of her head, right? And so it's a multi-tiered task. She may say, I'm not writing anything, but I'll read your gratitude journal. She may take your gratitude journal and throw it on the floor. Like, I'm not reading that right now. You keep doing it. Keep doing it. Because here's why. After 2 months of doing laundry and doing all the stuff in the dishes all by yourself, you're going to start getting resentful and exhausted too, because you're working a full-time job, right? You're not doing these together anymore. You just picked up all this slack. I want you to be reminding yourself, I'm grateful for her, man. I am grateful for her. And I want her to see the daily decisions you're making to love her. And over time, she's going to love herself. Bonus if she'll write it down. Okay. Now, here's the last thing I want y'all to do. Every morning before you guys leave for work, I want you to hold her hands and look her in the eye and say, I love you. And what does your picture of today look like? What do you got on your plate? Not, hey, how can I serve you? Because now she's got to come up with a bunch of reasons why she's... what does your picture look like for today? Just giving providing architecture for the day for the both of you is freeing, right? And then it allows her to go in and do the hard work that she's got to do. And then she can circle out, come home, be fully herself, sit at that table and look at the guy she loves and say, well, this happened today. And you can hold her hands, look her in the eye and say, I hate that for you. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. How can I love you right now? And then in the morning, oh my gosh, what's the picture of today going to look like? What's it going to look like today? I'm going to do one. I'm going to sneak one. I'm going to sneak two little acts of service throughout the day so that on Saturday or Sunday, our days can be going for walks, can be going outside. She can take some quiet time. She can have some journaling time. Give her some of that space that she desperately needs to process this trauma that she's experiencing, right? It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. But first and foremost, Mitchell, thank you so much for your heart and for your soul. So grateful for you, brother. So grateful.